Was Trump's riot an act by a religious death cult? Is this what happens when you mix politics and religion? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel.
Thomas, thank you for taking my call, and please forgive my clogged up nose. Did you have a chance this morning yet, as busy as you are? I can't imagine you did have time. Did you read the article in the New York Times about the toxic link between evangelicalism and Trumpism?
I did not.
Oh, boy. Please, try to find some time, sometime today or tomorrow. Oh Lord.
Okay. Yeah, typically, I can dig into that after I get off the air, but...
This one's really important. We've all read a lot about the mix of religion and the GOP and the whole thing. We're going to have to learn to ride two horses pretty much at the same time with that which we're going to have to deal with. The rooting out of the most toxic part of the Republican dogma, if you will, as well as rooting out the most toxic, unbelievably confused ideas so many of these evangelicals had. One woman interviewed that said, "Oh, this is not about a coup. This is about a counter-coup. The coup has already occurred. They have removed God and Jesus from our country. We are simply taking it back." And I personally held prayer meetings before people went to the protests, et cetera, et cetera. This is so much more toxic than I had any idea. It's these people actually believe that their God and their Savior is absolutely under assault by the entire base of the Democratic Party and the party itself. They have somehow been...
Reagan was the guy who cut that deal, and George W. Bush was the broker. Reagan's vice president, George Herbert Walker Bush, brought in his son, who had had an evangelical conversion experience that got him off alcohol.
That's right.
And George W. Bush brought the evangelicals into the White House. Prior to 1980, Ronald Reagan and George Bush Sr. had been big supporters of abortion rights. Reagan had actually advocated for and signed one of the most progressive pieces of abortion rights legislation when he was governor of California. George Herbert Walker Bush was, if not on the board, certainly on the advisory board of Planned Parenthood, and he and Barbara did events for them. So in 1980, when they hooked up with the evangelical movement, and by the way, in 1979, most of the evangelical movement was pro-abortion, abortion rights. Right. Nobody's pro-abortion, but pro-abortion rights. So but all that changed in 1981 when George W. Bush cut this deal between a small number of power brokers, particularly Ralph Reed and some of the televangelists. Ralph Reed, Jerry Falwell Sr., and Pat Robertson, thank you. And he cut this deal with these guys, and he said, "We will protect your tax-exempt status."
That's right.
On an ongoing basis. And we will have the Republican Party throw themselves behind protecting your tax-exempt status, which is what turned Pat Robertson into a billionaire and turned Jerry Falwell into being worth hundreds of millions of dollars. We will protect your tax-exempt status if you will tell your parishioners to vote Republican. And that scam has been running for 40 years.
Well, it's just simply become more toxic. It's like, do you remember the Iowa caucuses when Trump stood up in front of a group of people in Iowa? Now, these are rural people. Okay, no recrimination there. But he said clearly, "I will save Jesus." And since then, the party has become so much more toxically involved with this belief construct. We're up against
that's just a restatement of Fox News's annual "Oh my God, there's a war on Christmas" crusade.
Sure.
We got to save Jesus.
I simply truly believe after reading this article, it's far more toxic now than it has ever been before. It is reaching a point of absolute hysteria now.